Good morning, kindergarten. This is your math class for Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. It is lesson 10.1. The supplies you will need for today's lesson are just your lesson papers and a pencil. Teacher has these shapes over here that I will be using, and you can follow along on the screen. I'll give you a moment to make sure that you have your lesson papers and your pencil ready, and then we will begin. All right, let's begin kindergarten. Our brand new chapter 10 is all about three-dimensional shapes. Three-dimensional shapes are a little bit different than the two-dimensional shapes we've been learning about so far. Two-dimensional shapes, like this hexagon, are flat. Three-dimensional shapes, as you can see, we say they have form, meaning they have three dimensions. They are tall, they are wide, and we say they are deep. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around so you can see me, and I'll show you what I mean. Good morning. Three-dimensional shapes, do it with me. They're tall, that's one dimension. They're wide, that's another dimension. But they're also deep. See? Deep. That's the third dimension. So the last chapter, chapter 9, we were learning about two-dimensional shapes, such as the hexagon, rectangle, triangle, oval, circle. Did I say square? Not sure. They are two dimensions. That means they're flat. Again, two-dimensional shapes have height and length, but they don't have that depth we were talking about. So this chapter 10, we will be focusing on three-dimensional forms. Forms that have, again, do it with me, length, height, and depth. Three dimensions. All right, let's turn the camera back around. You can see my forms on my tray today. I have 4 of them I want to show you. The first form we call a cube. A cube is basically a square, but it has depth, doesn't it? It has that 3 dimension. It's a cube. Can you name one thing in your world that's the shape of a cube? I'm listening. Okay, let's move on. Now I have this round ball, we would call it, but since we're in math class, it has a math name to it that's much more scientific and smart. So it's not a ball, we would call this a sphere. Can you say sphere? Good. Name something in your world that is the shape of a sphere. Okay, good. Now we're coming to this three-dimensional shape. This three-dimensional shape looks like an ice cream cone to me, or a teepee, or a birthday hat. The cone, we say, has a flat bottom and a point at the other end. Can you say cone? Name something in your world that is the shape of a cone. Good job. And our last 3D or three-dimensional shape is called a cylinder. A cylinder has a circle on one end, a circle on the other end, and it has a curved edge. Can you name something in your world that is the shape of a cylinder? Okay, please say cylinder. Excellent. All right, those are the shapes that we're going to be working with today. Before we begin, let's write our name on our paper. Here we go. Put your name at the top, at the top. Put your name at the top, at the top. Put your name at the top. Don't stop till it's at the top. Put your name at the top, at the top. All right, my date is 5-5-20. 5 stands for the 5th month of the year, which is May. It's the 5th day of May, and it's the year 2020. Here we go. Lesson 10.1. Please read it with me, kindergarten. 3-dimensional shapes. Essential question. How can you show which shapes stack, roll, or slide? We have our table here to sort our shapes. The left side says does stack. The right side says does not stack. Let's look at our 3-dimensional shapes we've talked about and let's see if they stack. Let's start with the cube. Does the cube stack? Yes, it does. We will put the cube on that side. Let's come now to the cylinder. Say cylinder. Does the cylinder stack? Yes, it does. Let's come to the sphere. Say sphere. Does the sphere stack? Oh man, this is a tough one. I was really hoping it would, but it does not. So we'll put the sphere on the right-hand side. Does not stack. Now let's come to this cone. I'm actually very interested to see if I can get it to stack. No, I can't. We would say does not stack. There we go. So we could say cubes and cylinders stack. Say it with me. Cubes and cylinders stack. And we could say spheres and cones do not stack. Say that with me. Spheres and cones do not stack. Good job, kindergarten. Let's move on today. Turn your page. I see the number 1 apple on page 414. Now we have something called a Venn diagram. That's a super fancy word for a way to organize information. A Venn diagram always has 2 circles, as you can see here, and they overlap in the center. So now we have 3 sections we can sort in. The top section says roll. The middle section says roll and stack. And the bottom section says stack. So any shapes that can roll, we'll put at the top. Any shapes that can stack, we'll put in the bottom. Any shapes that can roll and stack will go in the middle. Are you ready? Let's start with those cubes again. And let's see what we can do with them. Can we roll a cube? We can, but it doesn't roll smoothly, like I know they want it to roll smoothly. So cubes do not roll. Do they stack? Yes. So we'll put cubes in the bottom. Cubes can stack. Good. Now let's move on to the cylinders. Can you say cylinders? Good. Can cylinders roll? Ooh, beautifully. Nice. Okay. Now can they stack? Yes. So we could say cylinders roll and stack. We'll put that one in the middle. Now we'll come to our cones? Do I have another cone? Oh, man. There it is. Okay. Can cones roll? Yes, they roll around in a circle, don't they? So cones can roll. Can cones stack? No. So we'll put the cone up here in roll. Now we'll come to our last shape, the sphere. Say sphere. Let's see if we can get the sphere to roll. Of course. Of course it's going to roll. How about stack? No. So spheres will go at the top with roll. So now we have organized our three-dimensional shapes into 3 groups. Say cones and spheres roll. Say it with me. Cones and spheres roll. Say cylinders roll and stack. Cylinders roll and stack. Then say cubes stack. Cubes stack. Good job organizing those shapes. We call them 3D shapes, or that's short for three-dimensional. All right, let's move on. Number 2, the directions say which shape does not roll. So a basketball rolls. Put an X on the shape that does not roll. Do you know which of these 3 shapes does not roll? Ah, you're right. The cube does not roll. Let's move on to number 2. I'm sorry, number 3. Which shapes do not stack? Mark an X on those shapes. Can I stack a cone? No, we couldn't do that, could I? Can I stack a sphere? No. How about the cube? Yes. Let's move on to number 4. This one says slide. Which shape does not slide? Mark an X on that shape. Can I slide the cylinder? Yes. Can I slide a sphere? No. What do I do with my sphere? It's not sliding, it is rolling. Good. How about my cube? Can I slide a cube? Yes, I sure can. As long as it has a flat bottom, then I can slide that 3-dimensional shape. Number 5, stack and slide. Mark an X on the shape that cannot stack and slide. Can I stack and slide a cube? Yes. Can I stack and slide a cylinder? Yes. Can I stack and slide a sphere? No, I can roll it, can't I? And that's it. Good job, friends. All right, let's turn to the back. Number 1, roll, I roll and do not stack. Which shape am I? Which shape rolls but does not stack? Good, the cone. I can roll it, can't I? But I can't stack it, so let's mark that with an X. Good. All right. I'd like you just to cross out number 2. We're not going to do that today. Good job in your math lesson today. Bye-bye.